Hello, and you have been pulled into the Black Dimension. I am Kev, and here also is Donnie and Roger. Long live the habitual line steppers. Um, we are here to discuss the first episode of the Disney Plus Marvel animated series, What If? And let me give you a little history. What If was a comic book series presented by Marvel that put popular and well established superheroes that they wrote comic books and stories about in situations that were depicted in their regular continuity, except for it's sort of like if things had gone differently, what would happen. So, say for instance, um, what if the Phoenix Force never came to the X Men, which was, back in the day, I would say, for the comic book. So what they did was, for this particular show, was they took that same concept and applied it to the MCU films, which, uh, like for instance, they have a what if on Guardians of the Galaxy. They have a what if on the first Iron Man film, and these particular situations give a very interesting spin and a different take on stories that are already very popular, and they haven't done a bad job with them. So, what's going on, guys?
What's happening, brother?
What it is, what it ain't, what it look like.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, we're discussing today the first episode of What If, episode one. What if Captain Carter was the first Avenger? Uh, as you know, Captain Carter is from Agent Peggy Carter. Things went differently in the situation when the super soldier serum was being applied to Steve Rogers. Instead of her leaving the room in this particular situation, she decided to stay in the room, and that's where things got a little crazy. Uh, the Hydra agent blew up the bomb early, shot Steve Rogers. Peggy Carter, she shot him and killed the Hydra agent instead of having a street chase scene. And Steve was too injured to go into the machine, and they was about to lose it all. So Peggy Carter, decided to go in instead, and then she became the super soldier from there. Now, what I want us to keep in mind is what the doctor, I think his name was Erskine, the guy who chose Steve Rogers. Remember, throughout this entire thing, he said the super soldier serum heightens whatever's inside of the individual. That's why he chose Steve, because of his virtue. Good becomes better, bad becomes worse. Uh, and this should, and I will explain how this is the case with Captain Carter. But she came out, she was taller, more buff, and way stronger and more agile, just like a super soldier serum would do. So yeah, this and what this episode showed is that Marvel can definitely hang in the realm of animation. They definitely showed the potential to be a top dog because their rivals DC had already well established their own universes in the animated. They still have somewhat issues in live action, but Marvel really showed that, hey, you know what, we can come up with some stuff too. So I like the episode overall. I like the elements that it presented. So, anything to say about that?
Well, I have to agree. I definitely like the episode. I like the thought of the first what if being the one with Captain Carter. I thought that was kind of fitting since the first Avenger, Captain America, the first Avenger, really kind of kicked off the universe. Even though Iron Man came first, time wise, he really kicked it off. And I always liked that chick Peggy, man. They Haley Atwell, that was a great actress, so it didn't hurt me to be reminded of her, which I actually do hope they do more stuff with her. But I thought it was definitely an interesting take on how to do it, you know, because she was a extremely dedicated person to the war efforts and things like that. And I guess when you're in a crunch situation, you got to use what you got. And if you got a woman in the room, that's what you got to use.
Yeah, yeah, and they did kind of lean on that kind of aspect. But Donnie, what's good? What's up?
Um, it was an interesting. It was an interesting what if. I liked the thematic elements. I thought the story was cool. I thought her power set was way the hell off, but I mean, as far as the story, it was good. But I that nigga was way more powerful than Captain America was.
Yeah, that was a huge conflict when people first saw the episode. You know how the internet does. You know they'll take one thing and run with it. That Captain Carter was more powerful than a hero that they took over a decade to establish. And that didn't seem right to people. And but the other side of the argument is that animation is going to make them seem stronger and more spectacular anyway. When she was doing such things as jumping from plane to plane at high altitudes, could Steve Rogers had done that in live action? Would that have looked like it made sense, or would he have passed out like a normal human being? Oh no, well he's a super serum human being, but still, that's like at like thousands of feet.
I didn't even find that the crazy part, right? There's a scene where they're at a castle. This nigga jumps over the castle wall. That's what made me go, oh yeah, no, these two are not equal. Is she this strong only 1 week out of the month? Like, how did we get here?
Yeah, I mean, but they also have this thing where when female characters are in senior hero positions, like they overpower them. So they what they do from these depictions is they make them look way more spectacular than the men. You can see this with overpowered characters like Captain Marvel, and this is spreading through the media. I get that, but I think they tried to get away with some things, but also I don't think that you really can look at Captain Carter as sort of that armored woman's archetype. She still kind of retained her femininity. She wasn't very, she wasn't an angry type. I mean, she was super duper, but it was like a lot of emphasis that people don't focus on is that she really had the hots for Steve. I mean, really, like I said, good becomes great, bad becomes worse. It's like if she had any feelings for Steve, they were heightened when she took that super soldier serum. Like they actually came closer to doing a little something in this what if than they did when in the Captain America the first Avenger film. It's like she went from Steve, you're kind of little cute guy to after she took the super soldier serum, I want to ball this little man up and shove him in my vagina. that, that's the feeling I got from that. It's like for real.
Well,
But
I'm gonna say that now number one, with this being a cartoon versus live action, I'm always gonna have the understanding that live action is not gonna be able to do exactly what they do in cartoons because you got more to play with when you're drawing it versus actually having to create it, even with the CGI technology we have today. Cartoons gonna be more. Uh, a word I like to use is not a real word. Fantastical. Okay, it's a little bit more magical, a little bit more fantasy. So I put them together. Cartoon's gonna be a little bit more fantastical. So
mhm.
I wasn't tripping about because he did seem much more powerful than Steve Rogers in this particular one. But I just took it as that's a cartoon. It's gonna be that way. Steve got a better shield. I'll say that. That star in the middle definitely beat these stripes in the middle. And I'm just saying. Um, the storyline was pretty decent, and I mean it's hard to know where they're gonna go because I don't know if they're gonna ever build from any of these episodes because I did hear they were canon to the MCU, but they're what if, so it's a whole other dimension anyway. So I don't know
Mhm.
how you ever cross the cartoon world versus the live action world. Regardless, so I just took it as okay. The story was cool. Yeah, a little bit more powerful than Steve, but it's a cartoon. What am I really supposed to expect?
Yeah. Yeah, and also here's one thing I want people to keep in mind as well. What If is a series that is the result and a ramification of what happened in the season finale of Loki. When Sylvie killed He Who Remains, spoiler alert, she kills him, and then all that branch just went nuts. This is where this What If is coming from. So this is all Sylvie's fault. That this stuff is happening right now, and you will see how it is from episode to episode to episode. This show is epic. It is, and I did really believe that Captain Carter was a great start to it. Yes, we can. Yeah, Marvel saying we can hang in this animation thing too, but yeah, just this like just also keep in mind that that there were reports and stories out that these episodes is leading up to something that is much bigger. So yeah, yeah, very, 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 very curious as to see what's next.
Yeah, I'm very curious as well about where the future is going to go, because there's a whole other side of storytelling that if you got the live action things doing their thing, and then if you got the cartoon world doing their thing. Now I don't know how you cross those over, so I don't expect that. But I'm sure there'll be different episodes of What Ifs that will eventually cross with other episodes of What Ifs. So it's to me it's a money in the bank type of deal, just about.
And also in this show, since Peggy became the first Avenger, inadvertently Steve Rogers became the first Iron Man. And if you really want to see how all that unfolds, go check out the original content, the Disney Plus series. But it was kind of cool how they did it because they called it the Hydra Stomper. That's what they called it. And it looked like the first Iron Man suit that Tony Stark
Mark
made in
One.
the desert.
Yeah, which I thought was an absolute great touch that they did that. And then the I mean, it was Tony Stark's dad who built the suit basically. So I thought that was actually a great touch.
Yeah. So Donnie.
Yeah, it was a good spin. I think a lot of that, which is great writing. You had a sort of natural progression of things. Tony Stark still built the Iron Man suit, right? Because Steve Rogers isn't going to let his girlfriend go out and outdo him.
He might not have had a choice.
I
I
mean,
mean,
damn.
she was amazing,
Um,
as Captain Carter.
yeah, she was on a whole other level from what Steve Rogers was. She was a better Captain America than what Steve Rogers was, right? Um, and then she gets blasted in the future. I think all of this is going to be leading into something.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's something big, and I mean, it's only fitting of the MCU. So it really is a continuation of what was going on that made the MCU stories and the characters so popular and so successful. And you shall see. Also, keep in mind that these are all. I respect this little animated series in particular because these are Chadwick Boseman's last performances as T'Challa. So, that was something I was going to say for the next episode, but I'm just going to say it right here. I mean, they really pay homage and respect to the Black Panther with this. So, Captain Carter's a win. Please check out our other episodes covering What If. The next, of course, is What If T'Challa Became a Star Lord, and also want to remind you to check out our episodic rankings of the MCU's Infinity Saga. It's called the MCU Infinity 23. The next episode that we will be covering, the next film is Thor the Dark World. So please check us out and thank you for joining us for this discussion on What If. Anything else to say, fellas?
Well, I will see you next time around.
All right. And you guys, what about you, Donnie?
Um, Yeah, I'm just excited for the next one. Let's get to it. Let's
Okay.
get to it. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Let's get to it. All right. And thank you very much for tuning in for this What If. Very fun ride we're about to have with this. And let me remind you that you have been pulled into the black dimension, and hopefully you can find your way out. See you next time.